listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Awake After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Awake After Show.
Hey! Yay! We are all wide awake.
That's right.
We are.
Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. Bing is for doing, everyone, and we are here doing another AFTERBUZZ After Show for Awake Season 1. Applause break after everything I say.
We're excited.
We are excited. Season 1, Episode 2, titled The Little Guy. And we really got a taste of why it's called The Little Guy, because this entire episode was really Britain just focusing on the little guy. So aptly titled. What did you guys think about tonight? Oh, I should introduce ourselves first of all.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm just so excited. I am your host, Kristen Carney. You're welcome. Thank you. Applause break after everything I say. Yes, yes. Over here, we have Mr. Sean Overman.
Thank you.
Yes, superhero.
I like that.
And we have Lauren Turner. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure if you guys have any special intros that you want to let us know if you work at a great show like Extra or whatever. I'm not sure. This is the first night we've met, so.
This
Yeah.
is the first time we've met.
Yeah.
Awake has brought us together. No, I mean, you can follow us on Twitter. My Twitter is Lauren's Love, L-U-V, not L-O-V-E. And I'm a host. I'm a reporter, all about reporting and entertainment. Not Extra yet, but Maria, we love you.
Well, you guys can follow me at the Sean Overman on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook as well. Just type in Sean Overman. And additionally, I do have a online movie blog, which I update as much as I can. So check that out, seanoverman.org.
Yay. Okay,
really
awesome.
good.
And you guys stay tuned because we're going to do that again at the end of the show since I so awkwardly introduced it at the beginning as well.
I feel like your awkwardness is all the better. I think you guys deliver a great after show. Furthermore, the only thing that we want from our AfterBuzz fans, and when I say fans, I also mean our chat room, Kristen, because our chat room, they love you. They really like you guys, and it's important that we show them support. We also want you to go on our iTunes page and comment and rate our iTunes, because that really is what gets the ball rolling, and it's a great little after show. I tell myself every week I'm going to watch all these Awake episodes because you guys make me go there. So do it again, Kristen. Make us go there.
We are salesmen in a way, so.
Yeah. You know what I noticed on the iTunes comment board? Yesterday, someone put that we're better than the competition for all the
I
Awake
saw
after
that.
shows.
Yeah. So tell your
yeah.
friends, you guys, if you're hanging around. I know for me, I have a lot of awkward moments with friends when we don't know what to talk about. We're like, crickets. So bring up AfterBuzz TV and
did
all of
see
our
that.
after shows.
I saw that and I was like, wow, they said you guys, the AfterBuzzers, are better at speaking about Awake than the people that do it within the Awake show or NBC or something like that. Get out of here. I love that.
Yeah.
Basically, they said that they like us, you know.
So let's keep him on that train. I think we just pushed him away like 10 feet.
Thanks, Ronnie.
I mean, they know I love them.
Of course. So tonight's episode, what do you guys think? It's the second episode. Did it lend a hand at guiding us maybe to a bigger picture, or was this more crime oriented? What were your feelings on the overall gist from this specific show? Because I know, we are recording. I don't know if we're supposed to actually tell our audience this, but we have seen more episodes. So to backtrack and do it from that point of view is a little bit tricky because we do right now know what's coming ahead.
I don't know, Kristen. Maybe you're just in two different worlds, the green world and the red world. Maybe your mind is telling you saw things, but you actually didn't. I don't.
Yeah.
You're kind of a weird girl. Oh
I'm in
my
one world.
gosh,
It's just a really
kidding.
sad world.
See, what I like to do, and I said this actually last week with Ronnie and everybody else who was here, was that when I'm there watching the show, I live in those realities. Okay, so I'm not thinking right now. I'm not thinking outside the box so much. I'm just thinking episode 2, little guy, the little guy.
Good for you. Ooh, you are very bolted to this earth, because I am like out like thinking like, well, I kind of saw this one already, and I did actually see a few moments of this show a couple weeks ago. Right. So I know for me it took a little effort trying to stay just within the show and not think ahead. But of course we had the green reality and the red world, and we also had a lot going on within both. We opened on Dr. Mackenzie murdered on the table, and when we went through that with Britain, we saw him come to his realization in the other world, which was the red world, that there was some relation going on between the dreams.
The number one thing that they showed right away was they have Dr. Mackenzie dead, and then when he
Right.
goes, and it actually just shows that right there, and then right afterwards it goes into the red world, and then we see that there's another Mackenzie, there's someone else
Same
named
exact
Mackenzie,
name.
the same exact name, but it's a totally different guy, and it happens to be, instead of a doctor, it's a homeless dude that's been found dead, and he's been dead for what, weeks, is it?
Yeah, and how hard do you think that must be for Britain to not be able to tell people in his worlds, like, no, this is why I know to look for a short man. So the whole time he was just bullshitting, really,
Yeah.
on why he's looking for a short guy. And I know for me, I would just be like busting at the seams, like, no, I dreamt this, I know it. But of course he'd be fired because he'd look like a crazy person.
Exactly right. And we saw him do that a little bit in episode 1,
yeah.
where he actually said some things to Vega, and he may have said something to Bird too, but then each time they're like, "What, are you serious? You know,
Right,
like
right.
don't tell me you really
Right.
said you dreamt this. Okay, you need to
Yeah.
base it on evidence."
Especially with cops, because that's all they do
Oh,
is
yeah.
think in logic.
His
Well,
go-to,
for the most part.
his go-to answer now is like, it was a hunch or it was intuition. I'm noticing
Right.
that there's a trend here. He's just like, intuition.
Right,
Just-
intuition.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there.
Yeah.
right now.
And at every step, they're always, his partners, even though they're supposed to be helping him and supporting him, they're always antagonistic towards him. And I'm sure it's because of the whole, his family, one of his family members dying, we don't know which one,
Mm-hmm.
and then that he's under psychiatric evaluation by a therapist,
Right.
and supposed to go to weekly sessions or even daily. We don't even know how often he sees the therapist.
Right. And we know that he's not really doing it willingly. And he seems, he seems to really, as much as he doesn't want to be there and he's forced to be in these therapy sessions, they do seem to help. And I don't want to jump ahead too much, but the doctor's views on what he was going through were completely different in his realities. Please forgive me, the name of the doctor.
Dr. Lee? And
not
then we
Lee.
Evans.
Evans,
Okay.
Dr. Evans. She said that the connection between the worlds can be very beneficial. And I agree with her personally if it came down to like a personal matter. I think that your brain does so much help without you knowing it. That this is what his brain is doing, is just helping him. While the other doctor, Dr. Lee, said it's a problem, not a tool. And I'm not a registered doctor. I know nothing actually of medical facts, especially about psychology or psychiatry. But I would side with Dr. Evans in her perspective.
Yeah, I agree with you because, the way she said that, the way you're able to shape your investigation in such a remarkable and unique way, it's truly a great thing, the way that your dreams are helping you out in this way. And she's right. When you sleep, a lot of us in our culture, we don't sleep that much. But when, if we do get a lot of sleep, then you can actually have the most creative thoughts possible. You use your reality and you put it into your mind and your dreams, and it processes it and it allows you to help remember things better and stores your memories better and all this stuff.
Yeah,
It's really good.
There's actually been several inventions over the past course of hundreds of years behind us that have been here because of people's dreams. And it sounds a little crazy. I watched a documentary recently, and the needle, the eye for the needle, came from the man, I don't know his name, who invented the needle, like the sewing needle, that little eye to put the thread through. He dreamt that. And that's
Yeah.
why we use that needle. So I know our brains are so programmed to want to help us move forward, and they're like a good friend. Our dreams are a good friend, I think. And I think regardless of whether or not Britain is in true reality in the red or the green, regardless of either one it is. In a way, I like that. If this ever happened to me, I would almost like this to happen because it's not, of course, it would be like hell, but at the same time, you really feel like, I don't know what I'm talking. I'm talking myself into a hole, but I think it's just a great coping mechanism, even though it's crazy and makes you lose your mind. But I think it's really interesting.
I think you're right. What's cool about it is he really doesn't have to sleep.
Right.
He could get way more done because he's awake in both realities.
Right, exactly. And they ended the episode with the twist of, or was that last week's episode? Now I
just go ahead and say it, and we'll
I think it was last week's episode. They ended with, "Why don't you sleep on it?" I think that was last week's episode.
Yeah. But the thing that I've noticed in this episode that I didn't notice so much in the first one is how really, because in a dream your perception is off, things are off. I noticed in both red and green worlds, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Either one could be a dream because you have this freakishly tall witness that's like, in your dream you can see someone that's like 7 feet tall.
You would, right.
And so he's this freakishly tall guy. And then the other reality, there's this little guy and there's this homeless man who is out of his mind, thinks that money is gum, is completely out of his mind, speaking gibberish. That's something that would happen in my dream. I don't know. So I was a little, the first episode I was like, I don't think they're dreaming. I think they're both reality or something like that.
Yeah, well, there's definitely clues.
Well, yeah. So were there any other clues that you guys saw in either world that kind of were like, this is definitely a dream, between each one?
The one clue I did pick up on was the tall man, because he was like a circus freak in a way. And you don't normally, unless you go to an NBA game, you're not going to see a guy that size.
Right.
So that was the one clue that I took out of it. Did you see another clue?
Well, actually, she brought up good points, and I never thought about those before, how, the freakish things that are happening, it could be clues that either one's a dream.
Right.
I liked, really funny quotes like that homeless guy had. He actually said, and this is something that's, complete gibberish, you would actually have, that you could have in a dream, right down there where it is, down there.
And he's
right.
dead.
But yeah, it makes so much sense.
Bang. He was like, bang. And he was like, oh, dead.
Right. But yet it makes so much sense in your dream.
Right,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I know I think it was 2 episodes ago or some, oh gosh, now I do feel like I am switching.
You're thinking outside the box now.
Yeah. But my perception on the 2 doctors, Dr. Evans and Dr. Lee, is kind of like yours in noticing the clues. To me, I perceive, and I don't want to be too repetitive because I did say this 2 weeks ago, but I perceive Dr. Evans to be a dream-like doctor, because if I had to close my eyes and envision a therapist, that's who I would envision.
She's like the stereotypical
therapist.
Yes.
So I didn't know if that was me overanalyzing or picking up on a clue, perhaps.
No, I think you're right.
She is. It's like everything's just easy breezy with her. She kind of agrees with everything he's saying.
She's warm.
She's very warm.
Comforting.
She's a warm person, but at the same time, it's a very cool atmosphere because of the green filter they got on there in the green world, and it's very tranquil at the same time.
Exactly. And it doesn't help when I say that I think Dr. Evans is a dreamed up doctor, because I do right now, I think that I do think that he is in the reality with Dr. Evans. I feel like is the real reality, is his true reality. And I say that because she is along with the son, correct? They're in the same world. The son who is still alive is with Dr. Evans.
Yeah.
And if you were to dream, we are speaking of being comforted and okay, well, all right, okay. I'm like, I really am dying. There's an ambulance. I was like, Ronnie, you can stop that sound effect, please.
It's another world again.
Is that the dream world out there?
Red, green, and the blue world. Sorry,
they're coming to get me.
I'll get that taken care of.
But I think that that Dr. Evans' reality, the green reality, is the true reality, because I always feel like reality is sadder. And there's that green filter, the cinematography slightly darker, a little sadder, it feels gloomy. And I feel like if someone was dreaming, they wouldn't choose to dream of something necessarily that sad and that gloomy feeling. And in the red reality with his wife, regardless that they do still have problems, they don't cope the same about their son's loss. And there is some tragedy in that world. It feels like the birds are chirping and it feels brighter. Yeah. So my inkling, just in my gut, I would say that is the real reality, because I have some effed up dreams. I don't dream in perfect, RGB color and like CMYK color and everything.
No, I'm kind of like on the other side of that. I think that the red. I kind of hope that both. I don't know, some kind of way that both are reality, or he's in a coma and, you know, he's going to wake up and they're both going to be alive. But if I had to choose one, I think I would say that the red is reality, because Hannah's so, you can feel her pain. You know, you can feel her pain like it's real. Like the loss of her son has made her this person that has to go through a breakthrough all the time to get to another point, but she's still so sad. And I feel like a dad and a son kind of go through that when they're, and the son's a teenager anyway. They're going to go through that kind of point in their lives where they don't get along that well until this tragedy adds to that. But I kind of feel like with Hannah, I don't know, I feel like I can relate to her. And I got emotional in the end when she's riding her son's bike. It felt real to me. So I don't know. We'll see. I kind of disagree.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's so great about the show is that when you watch movies, as you would know, doing a movie blog, when you watch movies, you love to speculate. Like, you love to be right. And I think that's why the show's so great, because everyone can give their opinion and really hold on to it and be like, no, you're wrong, I'll bet you money. And, you know, so I think it's exactly. What reality do you think is real?
You know, I'm not.
Or would you prefer to be real?
It's hard to say. Right now. I'm thinking more outside of the two realities. I'm thinking, what if each reality is completely and perfectly legitimate? It's not that one has to be fake and one has to be the real world. What if they're both completely legitimate and he is living in like two parallel worlds, and every time and he's like the bridge like in between the two, you know? So I think that's something that's more likely in this one, you know, like with my hypothesis. But then again, we'll see at the end.
You're also a sci-fi junkie, so
a little bit.
Yeah. Well, if writers are good enough and they're creative enough, I think they can come up with a way to bridge the worlds and perhaps make that an outcome and do a giant twist. Because if you did just pick one reality or the other to be real, at the end it's a little obvious.
Yeah.
So I think they might take that route and try to figure out a way to make it more sci-fi-ish.
I mean, even the cast members, whenever you interview so far, they're like, you know, we're done shooting and we were even shocked at this. Like, you are never going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It must be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, because you can't like write a premise like this and not have it like end really cool.
Yeah.
Because it's just a really cool premise. So, and I'm sorry I jumped so far ahead with kind of getting into the realities. I love that part of the show, and I think that's why I really want to bring it up and talk about it, because I like to speculate. But is there anything within the crimes that you guys would like to point out? I know I talked about how it was just excited about more of the reality than I was about the crime.
I wanted to talk about how, you know, typically with police officers, what the cop's job is to find the criminal, you know, and once they have someone like in an interrogation room, like we saw in the green reality with the tall guy, and then, you know, we have the kid. But getting back to the tall guy, we actually have Bird obviously accusing him of everything pretty much. Like he seriously knows he's guilty before he's going to be, you know, put in jail, right? But then of course we have Britton, who's there, and he's like, no, wait, like, this doesn't feel right, you know, because of his hunch, because of his dreams.
Little guy.
Because of the little guy thing. He has this, you know, predetermination in his mind, like, okay, this guy has to be innocent, you know. So it's interesting how he does go outside of the norm of a police officer, and he paints a different picture. And instead of painting the guy as guilty, he paints him, like, more fairly. You know, he gives him, like, a chance, an opportunity to prove himself.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting with the whole football game.
Prove himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Bird, I think, was being hypocritical in this episode because he was so upset at Britton for jumping ahead and just saying, oh, you have a hunch, so then therefore you're going to prove everything to fit within that hunch. So, but then when they went in the interrogation room, they didn't really actually have any specifically really hardcore strong evidence to hold the tall guy, and yet Bird was so ready to jump on him. But Bird had just gotten through saying to Britton, you can't just go on a hunch because you want to. But that's really what Bird was doing the whole time. He just wanted this guy to be guilty.
Yeah.
And was speaking to this guy as if he was guilty. But I don't know if that was intentionally written like that. I don't know if that was like an oversight, or I don't know.
Oh, I think so. I think they wanted Bird to have that yin-yang appeal to, you know, to Britton, because obviously, you know, we have him being the antagonistic cop in this situation. We had Britton being the fair, you know, cop because of his hunch.
Right. And so we got to the scene where we see it's the 17-year-old son of this doctor who actually committed the murder. And do you guys think that Britain was going to hold off from actually charging him? I don't know if I think I missed like a little gap there.
I think he wanted to get the guy pretty much, even though he was a 17-year-old kid, he wanted to get the person who was guilty.
Yeah, and the kid thought it was an altruistic style killing.
Yeah, he was really sticking to his guns.
Yeah,
that kid was very dedicated.
He was very dedicated.
V for Vendetta.
And the reason why he was so dedicated, I mean, just to give a little backstory, is he initially they go in and the kid's just like, I just wanted to find out about who my dad was, and that's why I hacked into the system of the hospital to find out who my father was, because he died, he had cancer, and he gave his sperm to my mom before he got sick.
He put it in a little gift bag.
Like, take it, and then the dad died. Come to find out, we find out that Dr. Mackenzie actually was trading his sperm for not only the hacker Sam for his substituting his, but for many other clients.
Baby daddy.
Yeah, so Sam just wanted justice against this man, and so he did end up killing him, and he stuck to his guns. So
I think there's actually a news story going on right now about someone who actually was doing that with their sperm. I heard it on the news the other day, and I don't have the details because I didn't know I was going into this episode,
right?
And this was going to be the topic. I would have looked it up if that was the case, but I was listening to it yesterday on a podcast or a radio of some sort. What do you guys think about that? And this is going to be a little bit deep, and then maybe we can go to commercial break, but this show, I think, lends itself to have all sorts of different thoughts in your own life, maybe about your dreams and your realities and stuff, and how you would cope with something like this. And to take that one step further, how do you guys feel? Because I know that you criminal justice.
Yeah.
And you said something like you like to watch crime shows.
I like crime shows, yeah.
I watch a lot of like real life investigation shows. I don't really watch the scripted ones, but what are your feelings on someone committing a murder because they felt like it was the right thing to do?
That's a very ethical argument, and it doesn't fall too much within the guidelines of law, which is an interesting thing because laws are based around ethics, what we believe is right and what's wrong. But, we make certain ways of killing appropriate and they're legitimate, like when a police officer kills somebody, in the line of duty when his life is threatened or to protect others' lives. That's okay to kill someone as a form of punishment, like when they killed somebody and they get the death penalty. That's okay. Killing people in war, that's legitimate. That's okay. All right. But then obviously in a situation like this, it's really, clearly from my perspective, I think it's wrong. What the kid did is wrong. He could have found another way to punish the guy. He could have made it so the guy suffered, like he lost his job, he gets sued by all these women.
Or he had to meet all of his kids
one
by one.
And the kid didn't want that to happen, like, but I think that's being selfish.
Too many Christmas gifts.
So anyway, I feel like the kid could have done without the whole thing. He should have just, he's got like that high school mentality. He's a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Even though he was really, he had a lot of dedication to what he was doing, his cause. At the same time, I just don't feel like people could take it. People could take a blow like that and they can move on with the rest of their lives.
Right. They don't go out and they don't go postal for the most part.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm so confused, Kristen, of like what you're saying. The dreams could lead in this show, or is it you're saying in general, like the dreams could lead somebody to feel that they can kill based on a dream? What
No.
We're talking about just straight
Another
up like
character.
Our killing's okay, pretty much.
In the episode, Ronnie, a young man who was 17 killed his father, he didn't think was his father, but this man that donated sperm 1,000 times too many when other fathers were supposed to be the ones donating the sperm, and the kid got really upset and killed the guy.
It was the doctor who was supposed to be, implanting
the sperm, not literally implanting it.
Exactly.
So we're just kind of talking about, this show brings up a lot of just questions and thoughts of maybe like your own moral code, and I definitely don't think it was right for the kid to kill. But the reason I asked that is because Britton to me seems like a sympathetic, empathetic character who understands people because he's going through his own problems. And so when I was watching that scene where the kid confesses, I just thought for a second maybe Britton wouldn't tell on him. Maybe he would understand his hardship, but I don't think that would happen because it was an unreasonable reason to kill.
Yeah.
I think most are.
Reasonable. I mean, agree with what you're saying, what you said before. It's interesting. I mean, I think about Dr. Kevorkian and the fact that people are were begging him to help them die. And, he was committed murder, but it's okay to go, shoot someone because they potentially could have a gun. I don't know.
Do you think like the questions that arose from watching this show, do you think the writers, when they put the show together, certainly had stuff like that as what they wanted the viewers to think? I mean, these are great little ideas that you're actually thinking about. Do you think that was planned? I mean, do they want a little controversy behind it? Or?
I think they want people to talk.
Yeah, because
they're definitely strategically doing this and writing the script this way.
Definitely.
Yeah, the way laws are written, they're way too black and white. It's either good or it's bad, and that's why we have the judge there. But, in this case, because we're the audience, we get to see the drama unfolding, we get to talk about it more because it is kind of a gray area where it's like, okay, straight up the law or ethics, what is really good, what's bad, did the kid do the good thing?
Right. Like someone like Dr. Kevorkian, I actually do agree kind of with Dr. Kevorkian to an extent, as long as it's not just
the views expressed herein are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Disclaimer.
Well, the movie You Don't Know Jack, which was on an HBO movie. It was a great movie. I think it might, it's of course written to sway someone's perspective. But anyway, that's a little bit off topic. But the show I just think is interesting. It does make people just talk about their theories and things like that, of course, which is always great. And that's why we're here at AfterBuzz TV. So I think right now, again, applause after everything I say. That's the way I like it. Ronnie, keep them coming. I'll give you another 20 when I leave. Thank you very much. But I think we'll take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
AfterBuzz. Yeah.
Harmony.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you. That was very charming. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV. We're discussing Awake, episode 2, called The Little Guy. And we're going to get into a couple little segments. We have some stuff about actors on the show. We've got maybe a couple tweets that we want to let you guys know. People were tweeting from the show, the actors. And I'm going to start. Well, not yet.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Yes, not yet. We're going to...
Almost there, Ronnie.
Almost.
AfterBuzz. Yeah.
Zip it. And right now we're just going to discuss some dreams. I think there's several, there's many different types of dreams. I believe there's like 8 common types of dreams. One that I think is really specific for this show, Awake, would be the breakthrough dreams. When you're trying to go through a change or your brain's trying to adapt, this is usually the kind of dreams that you'll have. And I've got this website here who has really great information. They're called lemondrop.com if you guys wanted to check them out. But the breakthrough dreams, they're dreams of disaster, death, fires, tornadoes, floods, earthquakes. These dreams are indicative of great change on the horizon. If you're a creature of habit who clings to routine, then these dreams might be helping you to loosen up and break out of your business as usual, so you can be prepared for what's next. The trick is to embrace change, since it is an inevitable part of the adventure of life. So I know for me personally, I have those dreams all the time, although my life it just never seems to get any better. It's like it's changing, but it's never like changing for the better.
So you have crazy disastrous dreams all the time.
Always. So I always feel like a little bit of a tormented person because I sleep and I'm never really truly relaxed when I'm sleeping. I always have nightmares. I always have anxiety dreams. I wake up sweating a lot.
That's like a night terror, right?
Yeah, well, they've just become so common now that I just call them dreams. That's how often I have terrors. They're just dreams.
It could have to do with some, your reality, your actual reality, whatever is going on in your real life. I mean, I don't know. I have amazing dreams about rainbows and butterflies.
Aw, that's
and falling in love and like all.
Oh my God.
That is so sweet.
I barely ever have nightmares. I had them a lot when I was a kid. I don't know. I had a good childhood, but now I don't know. I think it's kind of like before I go to bed, I kind of meditate and get myself ready to have.
That's a good idea.
Relax. You know what I mean, and get it together.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Awake actually was the title was REM at first. It wasn't Awake. So the REM period,
which is the complete opposite of Awake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
For those of you in the audience who are listening, REM stands for rapid eye movement, which is
Thank you, Sean.
the deep state when you are dreaming. You have your eyes moving around all crazy.
Yeah, and you don't even. So maybe he's in like the deepest of deep, and he's not even going to remember any of this when he wakes up.
And that's where you have your majority of dreams, and especially ones that are effed up, like his and mine.
You have some really crazy dreams.
How about? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, how about if you don't really remember your dreams? I mean, you're sleeping too much or too little? The last dream I could remember was about Wendy Williams. Why am I dreaming about Wendy?
That was a nightmare.
Speaking of freakishly tall.
Actually, the times that I believe that when people, well, not necessarily when I believe, but what I've noticed in my own personal life, and I've actually seen studies on it, where people have the most vivid dreams that they can remember the most is when they're in REM sleep, and then they're woken up by like the scientists or whatever who's ever conducting the experiment, or maybe it could be your partner, your spouse, whatever. When you're alone, when you go back to sleep, that's when you have the most vivid dreams.
Yep.
Okay, and I felt like that. You wake up, you hit the alarm, to snooze, so you can go back to sleep for another 5-10 minutes, half an hour, whatever. Okay, and I get some crazy dreams. I'm sure a lot of people experience this too. The last dream that I experienced was actually that I had won the lottery, but nothing changed.
Right. Except the change in your pocket.
That's good.
Well, they do. You're, like we mentioned earlier. Thank you.
Delayed reaction.
Another 20, Ronnie. Another 20. I mentioned earlier, when you do dream to help you through to learn, to grow. And there's an interesting study that if anyone out there needs extra cash, do like a sleep study. They pay really well, and you get to sleep. I mean, it might be a rocky night's sleep. You might need extra coffee the next day. I haven't, but I've talked to people who have, and I know they pay relatively well. So I'm getting to that point. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I have done some money. I'm gonna kill myself now. But they did a study with a video game, and so they made the participant play the video game, and then and he did horrible, and then he went to sleep, and they woke him up halfway through the night and played it again.
I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
And he did it better because he had been dreaming.
You told me
he
about
dreamt
this, actually. Sorry.
he dreamt about the game, and then he ended up scoring much higher on the actual video game. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
so when
dreams are so cool.
Yeah, when you're dreaming, it actually improves your skills in real life.
Exactly.
So you need to get that REM sleep.
Yes, you do. And if you don't, you might not be where you're supposed to be mentally.
No more disasters.
What is REM sleep? REM sleep is the most recent sleep. What would you say?
Rapid eye movement.
Yeah, rapid eye movement.
Like your deepest.
Yeah, that's where you get your core, hardcore sleep. So
Dreams.
Anyway, I think we can maybe jump over to some news with Lauren. Or not, it's news information.
Yeah,
guys. So, what I want to start doing every episode of Awake AfterBuzz is talk a little bit about one of the cast members. And so today, let's talk about Dylan Minnette. He plays Rex, which is obviously the son on the show. He's 15 years old, guys, but he has had a long career already.
Damn him.
I know, right?
I'm so jealous.
He's been on The Mentalist, Prison Break, and our executive producer, Kevin Undergaro, even said that Awake could be kind of like Lost. And get this, he was in 4 episodes of Lost.
Whoa.
So he's getting around. And
Oh,
now
there's a
Awake.
picture of him.
Yeah, there he is.
got
He's
nice
very
eyes.
hot,
That
kind
guy
of
has-
Justin Bieberish. I mean, not hot. I mean, he's 15. so-
Piercing blue eyes, this kid.
Someone's gonna have different dreams than butterflies tonight.
Oh, no, don't do that. And then also he's a musician. He's in a band. He's the singer and guitarist in the rock band The Fever.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
so he has quite a following. So Dylan's doing a lot, and his Twitter is Dylan Minette. So follow him on Twitter, and congratulations
Yeah,
on
and
the show.
he actually got over, I think he got 6,000 or 9,000 followers recently. He's gotten
Oh
a
yeah,
lot.
he actually just tweeted about it, how he's
Yeah.
made so many followers, obviously from the show, and I'm sure the girls love him because he's a cutie.
Yeah,
So
bright blue eyes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's what I have about Mr.
very
Dylan.
cool.
Right
very
on.
informational.
Yeah, so speaking about, Twitter stuff, right? So we were just saying that I noticed that he got like a ton of followers on Twitter thanks to Awake. And he actually seems to be posting up a lot of pictures about, like, he does like food things. I like to do
he
that
posts a
too.
lot of pictures.
He'll take like a picture of his like Easter bunny chocolate, and then he'll like put it up there on Instagram or something on Twitter. And additionally, he also has like late night runs to Subway, and he takes pictures with all of his friends at the Subway.
What does he order? Have you ever gotten that close into the
No,
picture?
no, I haven't zoomed in that much.
He's definitely keeping the reality of being a typical teen. I like that.
Yeah, and it's good that they chose him to play the son
Yeah, 'cause
because
he's actually
15.
15.
Yeah,
I
so many
know.
times you see like on the show
25
Nip
now.
Tuck, the guy who played the son, he was supposed to be like 16 or 17
like
or something.
32.
He looked like my grandfather. I was like, what is going on? This is awkward. But
Yeah.
so that was good casting. I'm glad that
Great
they did
casting.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, additionally, in the Twitter sphere, 2 days ago, Wilmer Valderrama, he tweeted, Feliz cumpleaños to one of the best people anyone can call a friend at the Mandy Moore. Blessed to be able to call you that.
Wow.
So that sounds a little intimate there.
Okay,
like
we
now,
all know Wilmer Valderrama is a charming ladies' man. So
and so did he actually go out with Mandy Moore?
mean,
Did you guys read up on that at
it
all?
was probably a long time ago when she was like the teen queen back in the day. I'm sure he, probably asked her out on a date or two. We'll find out. Maybe Wilmer should come on the show and then we can actually ask him in person. That would be awesome.
AfterBuzz.
Oh,
Was
good
that okay?
one.
Oh my God, I'm gonna
Got
kill
it.
myself now.
And before we came on air, you actually mentioned something else. You said he was a charmer. Is he a charmer on the show? Did you think
we
he was
don't really
or not?
see any interaction yet of him and a woman.
No, that's
but I
right.
mean,
That's a good
as
point.
I'm watching, I'm charmed.
This
by
is
him.
a very different character than we've seen him
Than we've
play.
seen
in the
Yeah,
past.
he's usually such a comical guy, and
Yeah.
he has some funny lines here and there, which are good.
Oh yeah,
But-
like I love the line when I know we have to go. I love the line when he said, what was it when they were telling him about he's like, this wasn't our case, and he's
Yeah.
like, no, this wasn't our case, and you did pick this. He's like,
Yes.
this is not our case.
no, he said the victims don't
the
pick
victims
us.
don't pick us.
Yeah.
We pick them.
Yeah.
But he's like, wait.
No, the victims. We don't pick the victims; they pick us, and the cases pick us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Britton also had a really good line. He said something like, "You want to know the truth?" And Wilder said, "Yeah." And he said, "Like what I say is like the most important," or
I
something.
wrote down that quote.
Yeah,
He
something
said,
about JFK.
You want to know the truth? I don't have to explain myself to you.
Yeah,
if
that's
I
good.
say the case is important, it might as well be the damn Kennedy assassination to you.
assassination.
Yeah, that was a
Some
good.
good
Line.
quotes, and
Yeah.
they deliver them well. So
Yeah,
much
yeah,
better
they're
than we
doing a
do.
really
Like,
good blah blah blah. Well, before you play the prediction music, Ronnie, do we want to get into predictions? Because I know that we have a biased view because we have seen further into the show. Do you want to do overall predictions?
I think I'll do one based on this episode as you
Sure.
guys, and then you guys can follow
Sure.
up with the overall.
Okay, great.
predictions.
Run it. All right.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So,
AfterBuzz.
predictions.
AfterBuzz.
Oh yeah! You get me pumped up, Ronnie. Okay, so predictions. Okay, I want to hear more about, obviously at the end we had the conspiracy, so the overall behind the scenes arc. I want to hear more about the conspiracy. I want to hear more about that in the coming episodes. It's going to give us, obviously it's going to give us a deeper story arc than what goes on, just the physical cases that are happening each episode that get resolved pretty much just like any crime show. And who's the guy on the bench? Is he a mob boss?
Yeah.
Is he a dirty government official?
He looked like a mob boss.
Yeah, he looked like a mob boss, but now I'm not so sure because they never say anything. He says, protection, we're offering you protection. And the captain's like, oh, I don't need it. But I don't know, it probably looks like he is a mob boss.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of, organizations like the, FBI, or they will work with people that are perhaps maybe in the mob, or cops are a little bit dirty.
Yeah, they use them as CIs, which are confidential informants.
Right. Or, or cops can be dirty, and they can, like I know my family back in like the 1920s, they ran a speakeasy and they made their own booze and they sold it. They were bootleggers.
Awesome that you know that.
Yeah, it's like a really cool history. They're like the Italian, like miniature mafia. But they had great relationships with the cops. The cops didn't ever tell on my family. My grandma baked them cakes all the time and pies, or my great grandma or whoever. And so I don't know if this detective, what is her name? Oh my gosh.
The captain.
Right? The captain, if she's maybe in on something, maybe she's not a good person. I do think because the actor said the show ends in a way that even they were surprised, I think it could have blow something majorly open if we found out who he was with the entire arc of the entire show.
Right.
or series.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish that there would be some flashbacks so we can find out what happened before
Yes,
the crash.
yes.
But thanks, guys, for joining us here at AfterBuzz TV today. We have a beautiful host.
Well, we really appreciate you guys listening. Please rate and comment and tell us how you feel. We do listen to our commenters and communicate on the message board on our website. It's really fun. And you can find me at twitter.com, of course, / Kristen Carney, KristenCarney, and also please go to my blog, sweatthesmallstuffwithkristen.com, and how everyone else.
And then, of course, you guys can follow me at the Sean Overman on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on my blog, SeanOverman.org. And again, just go ahead and download us on iTunes. That's the easiest way. Put it on your iPod. You guys are running around out there, jogging, exercising in the gym. Listen to us. Give us some feedback, please.
Yeah, guys, and I'm Lauren Turner, Lauren's Love on Twitter.
And make sure you vote for Maria on Dancing with the Stars. And tune in to our next podcast because we will be doing such awesome things as we did this evening.
I also think that since Awake, sorry. I also think that since Awake has such a online, people have opinions on what's happening. Do us a favor, not just on the iTunes and commenting and rating and all that, but share this. You know what I mean? Go get this YouTube video, throw it on your Facebook page. If you're a fan of Awake, go write to them on the Facebook page and say, hey, these guys are great. They're putting in their time and they're talking about Awake too. Let's all get in on the conversation. That's all I'm saying, Kristen.
Sounds good, Ronnie. I appreciate it. So we will check you guys next time.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.